Welcome to your best life, your sanctuary for calm, clarity, and connection. Through meditation and self-reflection, we guide you to a place of peace within yourself.
Unwind your mind, reflect on your journey, and embrace restful nights with sleep stories designed to help you relax and recharge.
Step into your best life, where mindfulness meets relaxation, and every moment becomes an opportunity to grow.
Your best life starts here. Welcome to a peaceful journey into the inner workings of thunderstorms. Tonight, we learn all about thunderstorms, including their life cycle and classifications, along with other interesting facts. As you prepare to drift into restful sleep, imagine yourself surrounded by the symphony of nature's most dramatic lullaby. Close your eyes and let your body sink into comfort. Feel the weight of your day dissolving as the gentle patter of rain begins to fall. Soft droplets tapping a soothing rhythm on the earth. In the distance, a low rumble stirs, a deep, resonant thunder that rolls gently across the sky like a mighty drum announcing the storm's arrival. As you listen, let these sounds of rain and thunder wrap around you. The steady beat of rain calms your mind, washing away worries, while the occasional crackle and boom of thunder remind you of nature's power, vast and wild, yet comforting in its rhythm. Every breath you take is in harmony with this storm, a dance of energy and tranquility. This is your time to let go, your moment to be still as the storm sings its song. The world outside slows down, and the rains carry you deeper into rest. Relax, breathe, and let the story unfold. You take a moment to scan your body, starting from your toes and working your way up. With each exhale, you consciously release any tension you find, allowing your muscles to soften and relax. Your feet sink into the soft earth beneath you. Your legs grow heavy and warm. Your torso feels light and free as you let go of any tightness in your abdomen and chest. Your shoulders drop, releasing the weight of the world from your back. You bring your attention to your arms, letting them grow heavy and limp as you release any tension from your shoulders, elbows, and wrists. Your fingers unfurl, open and relaxed. Finally, you focus on your head and neck, allowing them to sink into the earth as you release any tension from your jaw, temples, and forehead. You feel a sense of profound ease wash over you, as though a weight has been lifted from your entire being. In this tranquil oasis, surrounded by the beauty of nature, you feel a sense of peace wash over you like a gentle wave. The worries and cares of the world fade away, replaced by a profound sense of calm and contentment. You are fully present in this moment, allowing yourself to simply be, to exist in harmony with the world around you. A thunderstorm, also known as an electrical storm or a lightning storm, is a storm characterized by the presence of lightning and its acoustic effect on the Earth's atmosphere, known as thunder. Relatively weak thunderstorms are sometimes called thundershowers. Thunderstorms occur in a type of cloud known as a cumulonimbus. They are usually accompanied by strong winds and often produce heavy rain and sometimes snow, sleet, or hail. But some thunderstorms produce little precipitation or no precipitation at all. Thunderstorms may line up in a series or become a rain band, known as a squall line. Strong or severe thunderstorms include some of the most dangerous weather phenomena, including large hail, strong winds, and tornadoes. Some of the most persistent severe thunderstorms, known as supercells, rotate as do cyclones, while most thunderstorms move with the mean wind flow through the layer of the troposphere that they occupy. Vertical wind shear sometimes causes a deviation in their course at a right angle to the wind shear direction. Thunderstorms result from the rapid upward movement of warm, moist air, sometimes along a front. However, some kind of cloud forcing, whether it is a front, shortwave trough, or another system is needed for the air to rapidly accelerate upward. As the warm, moist air moves upward, it cools, condenses, and forms a cumulonimbus cloud that can reach heights of over 20 kilometers or 12 miles. As the rising air reaches its dew point temperature, water vapor condenses into water droplets or ice, reducing pressure locally within the thunderstorm cell. Any precipitation falls the long distance through the clouds towards the Earth's surface. As the droplets fall, they collide with other droplets and become larger. The falling droplets create a downdraft as it pulls cold air with it, and this cold air spreads out at the Earth's surface, occasionally causing strong winds that are commonly associated with thunderstorms. Thunderstorms can form and develop in any geographic location, but most frequently within the mid-latitude, where warm, moist air from tropical latitudes collides with cooler air from polar latitudes. Thunderstorms are responsible for the development and formation of many severe weather phenomena, which can be potentially hazardous. Damage that results from thunderstorms is mainly inflicted by downburst winds, large hailstones, and flash flooding caused by heavy precipitation. Stronger thunderstorm cells are capable of producing tornadoes and waterspouts. There are 3 types of thunderstorms: single cell, multi-cell, and supercell. Supercell thunderstorms are the strongest and most severe. Mesoscale convective systems formed by favorable vertical wind shear within the tropics, and subtropics can be responsible for the development of hurricanes. Dry thunderstorms with no precipitation can cause the outbreak of wildfires from the heat generated from the cloud-to-ground lightning that accompanies them. Past civilizations held various myths concerning thunderstorms and their development as late as the 18th century. Beyond the Earth's atmosphere, thunderstorms have also been observed on the planets of Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and possibly Venus. Now let's delve into the stages of a thunderstorm's life. Warm air has a lower density than cool air, so warmer air rises upwards and cooler air will settle at the bottom. This effect can be seen with a hot air balloon. Clouds form as relatively warmer air, carrying moisture, rises within cooler air. The moist air rises, and as it does so, it cools, and some of the water vapor in that rising air condenses. When the moisture condenses, it releases energy known as latent heat of condensation, which allows the rising packet of air to cool less than the cooler surrounding air, continuing the cloud's ascension. If enough instability is present in the atmosphere, this process will continue long enough for cumulonimbus clouds to form and produce lightning and thunder. Generally, thunderstorms require 3 conditions in order to form: moisture, an unstable air mass, a lifting force, heat. All thunderstorms, regardless of type, go through 3 stages: the developing stage, the mature stage, and the dissipation stage. The average thunderstorm has a 24-kilometer or 15-mile diameter. Depending on the conditions present in the atmosphere, each of these 3 stages take an average of 30 minutes. The developing stage is where a cumulus congestus transformation into a mature cumulonimbus incus cloud, otherwise known as the cumulus stage. During this stage, masses of moisture are lifted upwards into the atmosphere. The trigger for this lift can be solar illumination, where the heating of the ground produces thermals, or where 2 winds converge, forcing air upwards, or where winds blow over terrain of increasing elevation. The moisture carried upward cools into liquid drops of water due to lower temperatures at high altitude, which appear as cumulus clouds. As the water vapor condenses into liquid, latent heat is released, which warms the air, causing it to become less dense than the surrounding, drier air. The air tends to rise in an updraft through the process of convection, hence the term convective precipitation. This process creates a low-pressure zone within and beneath the forming thunderstorm. In a typical thunderstorm, approximately 500 million kilograms of water vapor are lifted into the Earth's atmosphere. In the mature stage of a thunderstorm, the warmed air continues to rise until it reaches an area of warmer air and can rise no farther. Often this cap is the tropopause. The air is instead forced to spread out, giving the storm a characteristic anvil shape. The resulting cloud is called cumulonimbus incus. The water droplets coalesce into larger and heavier droplets and freeze to become ice particles. As these fall, they melt to become rain. If the updraft is strong enough, the droplets are held aloft long enough to become so large that they do not melt completely, but fall as hail. While updrafts are still present, the falling rain drags the surrounding air with it, creating downdrafts as well. The simultaneous presence of both an updraft and a downdraft marks the mature stage of the storm and produces cumulonimbus clouds. During this stage, considerable internal turbulence can occur, which manifests as strong winds, severe lightning, and even tornadoes. Typically, if there is little wind shear, the storm will rapidly enter the dissipating stage and rain itself out. But if there is sufficient change in wind speed or direction, the downdraft will be separated from the updraft, and the storm may become a supercell, where the mature stage can sustain itself for several hours. A thunderstorm in an environment with no winds to shear the storm or blow the anvil in any one direction. Flanking line in front of a dissipating cumulonimbus, incus cloud is the dissipating stage. In the dissipation stage, the thunderstorm is dominated by the downdraft. If atmospheric conditions do not support supercellular development, this stage occurs rather quickly, approximately 20 to 30 minutes into the life of the thunderstorm. The downdraft will push down out of the thunderstorm, hit the ground, and spread out. This phenomenon is known as a downburst. The cool air carried to the ground by the downdraft cuts off the inflow of the thunderstorm. The updraft disappears and the thunderstorm will dissipate. Thunderstorms in an atmosphere with virtually no vertical wind shear weaken as soon as they send out an outflow boundary in all directions, which then quickly cuts off its inflow of relatively warm, moist air and kills the thunderstorm's further growth. The downdraft hitting the ground creates an outflow boundary. This can cause downbursts, a potential hazardous condition for aircraft to fly through, as a substantial change in both wind speed and direction occurs, resulting in a decrease of airspeed and the subsequent reduction in lift for the aircraft. The stronger the outflow boundary is, the stronger the resultant vertical wind shear becomes. There are four main types of thunderstorms: single cell, multi-cell, squall line, also called multicell line, and supercell. Which type forms depends on the instability and relative wind conditions at different layers of the atmosphere. Single-cell thunderstorms form in environments of low vertical wind shear and last only 20 to 30 minutes. Organized thunderstorms and thunderstorm clusters can have longer life cycles as they form in environments of significant vertical wind shear, normally greater than 25 knots in the lowest 6 kilometers of the troposphere, which aids the development of stronger updrafts as well as various forms of other severe weather. The supercell is the strongest of the thunderstorms, most commonly associated with large hail, high winds, and tornado formation. A single-cell thunderstorm. This term technically applies to a single thunderstorm with one main updraft, also known as air mass thunderstorms. These are the typical summer thunderstorms in many temperate locales. They also occur in the cool, unstable air that often follows the passage of a cold front from the sea during winter. Within a cluster of thunderstorms, the term cell refers to each separate principal updraft. Thunderstorm cells occasionally form in isolation, as the occurrence of one thunderstorm can develop an outflow boundary that sets up new thunderstorm development. Such storms are rarely severe and are a result of local atmospheric instability. Hence the term air mass thunderstorm. When such storms have a brief period of severe weather associated with them, it is known as a pulse severe storm. Pulse severe storms are poorly organized and occur randomly in time and space, making them difficult to forecast. Single-cell thunderstorms normally last 20 to 30 minutes. A multi-cell cluster. This is the most common type of thunderstorm development. Mature thunderstorms are found near the center of the cluster, while dissipating thunderstorms exist on their downwind side. Multi-cell storms form as clusters of storms, but may then evolve into one or more squall lines. While each cell of the cluster may only last 20 minutes, the cluster itself may persist for hours at a time. They often arise from convective updrafts in or near mountain ranges and linear weather boundaries, such as strong cold fronts or troughs of low pressure. These type of storms are stronger than the single-cell storm, yet much weaker than the supercell storm. Hazards with the multi-cell cluster include moderate-sized hail, flash flooding, and weak tornadoes. A squall line is an elongated line of severe thunderstorms that can form along or ahead of a cold front. In the early 20th century, the term was used as a synonym for cold front. The squall line contains heavy precipitation, hail, frequent lightning, strong straight-line winds, and possibly tornadoes and waterspouts. Severe weather in the form of strong straight-line winds can be expected in areas where the squall line itself is in the shape of a bow echo, within the portion of the line that bows out the most. Tornadoes can be found along waves within a line echo wave pattern, where mesoscale low pressure areas are present. Some bow echoes in the summer are called derechos and move quite fast through large sections of territory. On the back edge of the rain shield, associated with mature squall lines, a wake low can form, which is a mesoscale low pressure area that forms behind the mesoscale high pressure system, normally present under the rain canopy, which are sometimes associated with a heat burst. Supercell storms are large, usually severe, quasi-steady state storms that form in an environment where wind speed or wind direction varies with height, wind shear, and they have separate downdrafts and updrafts, i.e., where its associated precipitation is not falling through the updraft. With a strong, rotating updraft, or a mesocyclone, these storms normally have such powerful updrafts that the top of the supercell storm cloud, or anvil, can break through the troposphere and reach into the lower levels of the stratosphere. Supercell storms can be 24 kilometers or 15 miles wide. Research has shown that at least 90% of supercells cause severe weather. These storms can produce destructive tornadoes, extremely large hailstones, straight-line winds in excess of 130 kilometers per hour or 81 miles per hour, and flash floods. In fact, research has shown that most tornadoes occur from this type of thunderstorm. Supercells are generally the strongest type of thunderstorm. A mesoscale convective system is a complex of thunderstorms that becomes organized on a scale larger than the individual thunderstorms, but smaller than extratropical cyclones, and normally persists for several hours or more. A mesoscale convective system's overall cloud and precipitation pattern may be round or linear in shape, and include weather systems such as tropical cyclones, squall lines, lake effect snow events, polar lows, and mesoscale convective complexes, and they generally form near weather fronts. Most mesoscale convective systems develop overnight and continue their lifespan through the next day. They tend to form when the surface temperature varies by more than 5 degrees Celsius or 9 degrees Fahrenheit between day and night. The type that forms during the warm season over land has been noted across North America, Europe, and Asia, with a maximum in 1/8 reactivity. noted during the late afternoon and evening hours. In the tropics, these types of storms are found in either the intertropical convergence zone or monsoon troughs. Generally within the warm season between spring and fall, more intense systems form over land than over water. One exception is that of lake effect snow bands, which form due to cold air moving across relatively warm bodies of water and occurs from fall through spring. Polar lows are a second special class, as they form at high latitudes during the cold season. Once the parent storm dies, later thunderstorm development can occur in connection with its remnant mesoscale convective vortex. Mesoscale convective systems are important to the United States rainfall climatology over the Great Plains, since they bring the region about half of their annual warm season rainfall. The two major ways thunderstorms move are via advection of the wind and propagation along outflow boundaries toward sources of greater heat and moisture. Many thunderstorms move with the mean wind speed through the Earth's troposphere, the lowest 8 kilometers or 5 miles of the Earth's atmosphere. Weaker thunderstorms are steered by winds closer to the Earth's surface than stronger thunderstorms, as the weaker thunderstorms are not as tall. Organized, long-lived thunderstorm cells and complexes move at a right angle to the direction of the vertical wind shear vector. If the gust front or leading edge of the outflow boundary races ahead of the thunderstorm, its motion will accelerate in tandem. This is more of a factor with thunderstorms with heavy precipitation than with thunderstorms with low precipitation. When thunderstorms merge, which is most likely when numerous thunderstorms exist in proximity to each other, the motion of the stronger thunderstorm normally dictates the future motion of the merged cell. The stronger the mean wind, the less likely other processes will be involved in storm motion. A back-building thunderstorm, commonly referred to as a training thunderstorm, is a thunderstorm in which new development takes place on the upwind side, usually the west or southwest side in the northern hemisphere, such that the storm seems to remain stationary or propagate in a backward direction. Though the storm often appears stationary on radar, or even moving upwind, this is an illusion. The storm is really a multi-cell storm with new, more vigorous cells that form on the upwind side, replacing older cells that continue to drift downwind. When this happens, catastrophic flooding is possible. In Rapid City, South Dakota, in 1972, an unusual alignment of winds at various levels of the atmosphere combined to produce a continuously training set of cells that dropped an enormous quantity of rain upon the same area, resulting in devastating flash flooding. A similar event occurred in Boscastle, England, on the 16th of August 2004, and over Chennai on the 1st of December 2015. While severe thunderstorms are most common in the spring and summer, they can occur at just about any time of the year. Cloud-to-ground lightning frequently occurs within the phenomena of thunderstorms and have numerous hazards towards landscapes and populations. One of the more significant hazards lightning can pose is the wildfires they are capable of igniting. Under a regime of low precipitation thunderstorms, where little precipitation is present, rainfall cannot prevent fires from starting when vegetation is dry, as lightning produces a concentrated amount of extreme heat. Direct damage caused by lightning strikes occurs on occasion. Acid rain is also a frequent risk produced by lightning. Distilled water has a neutral pH of 7. Clean or unpolluted rain has a slightly acidic pH of about 5.2 because carbon dioxide and water in the air react together to form carbonic acid. A weak acid, pH 5.6 in distilled water. But unpolluted rain also contains other chemicals. Nitric oxide, present during thunderstorm phenomena caused by the oxidation of atmospheric nitrogen, can result in the production of acid rain. If nitric oxide forms compounds with the water molecules in precipitation, thus creating acid rain. Acid rain can damage infrastructures containing calcite or certain other solid chemical compounds. In ecosystems, acid rain can dissolve plant tissues of vegetations and increase acidification process in bodies of water and in soil, resulting in deaths of marine and terrestrial organisms. Any thunderstorm that produces hail that reaches the ground is known as a hailstorm. Thunderclouds that are capable of producing hailstones are often seen obtaining green coloration. Hail is more common along mountain ranges because mountains force horizontal winds upwards, known as orographic lifting, thereby intensifying the updrafts within thunderstorms and making hail more likely. One of the more common regions for large hail is across mountainous northern India, which reported one of the highest hail-related death tolls on record in 1888. China also experiences significant hailstorms. Across Europe, Croatia experiences frequent occurrences of hail. In North America, hail is most common in the area where Colorado, Nebraska, and Wyoming meet, known as Hail Alley. Hail in this region occurs between the months of March and October during the afternoon and evening hours, with the bulk of the occurrences from May through September. Cheyenne, Wyoming, is North America's most hail-prone city with an average of 9 to 10 hailstorms per season. In South America, areas prone to hail are cities like Bogota, Colombia. Hail can cause serious damage, notably to automobiles, aircraft, skylights, glass-roofed structures, livestock, and most commonly, farmers' crops. Hail is one of the most significant thunderstorm hazards to aircraft. When hailstones exceed 13 millimeters or 1/2 inches in diameter, planes can be seriously damaged within seconds. The hailstones accumulating on the ground can also be hazardous to landing aircraft. Wheat, corn, soybeans, and tobacco are the most sensitive crops to hail damage. Hail is one of Canada's most costly hazards. Hailstorms have been the cause of costly and deadly events throughout history. A tornado is a violent, rotating column of air in contact with both the surface of the earth and a cumulonimbus cloud, otherwise known as a thundercloud, or, in rare cases, the base of a cumulus cloud. Tornadoes come in many sizes, but are typically in the form of a visible condensation funnel, whose narrow end touches the earth and is often encircled by a cloud of debris and dust. Waterspouts have similar characteristics as tornadoes, characterized by a spiraling, funnel-shaped wind current that form over bodies of water, connecting to large cumulonimbus clouds. Waterspouts are generally classified as forms of tornadoes, or more specifically, non-supercell tornadoes that develop over large bodies of water. These spiraling columns of air frequently develop within tropical areas close to the equator, but are less common within areas of high latitude. A flash flood caused by a severe thunderstorm. Flash flooding is the process where a landscape, most notably an urban environment, is subjected to rapid floods. These rapid floods occur more quickly and are more localized than seasonal river flooding or aerial flooding, and are frequently, though not always, associated with intense rainfall. Flash flooding can frequently occur in slow-moving thunderstorms and is usually caused by the heavy liquid precipitation that accompanies it. Flash floods are most common in arid regions as well as densely populated urban environments where few plants and bodies of water are present to absorb and contain the extra water. Flash flooding can be hazardous to small infrastructure, such as bridges and weakly constructed buildings. Plants and crops in agricultural areas can be destroyed and devastated by the force of raging water. Automobiles parked within affected areas can also be displaced. Soil erosion can also occur, exposing risks of landslide phenomena. Downburst winds can produce numerous hazards to landscapes experiencing thunderstorms. Downburst winds are generally very powerful and are often mistaken for wind speeds produced by tornadoes due to the concentrated amount of force exerted by their straight horizontal characteristic. Downburst winds can be hazardous to unstable, incomplete, or weakly constructed infrastructures and buildings, agricultural crops, and other plants in nearby environments can be uprooted and damaged. Aircraft engaged in takeoff or landing can crash. Automobiles can be displaced by the force exerted by downburst winds. Downburst winds are usually formed in areas when high-pressure air systems of downdrafts begin to sink and displace the air masses below it due to their higher density. When these downdrafts reach the surface, they spread out and turn into the destructive straight horizontal winds. Thunderstorm asthma is the triggering of an asthma attack by environmental conditions directly caused by a local thunderstorm. During a thunderstorm, pollen grains can absorb moisture and then burst into much smaller fragments, with these fragments being easily dispersed by wind, while larger pollen grains are usually filtered by hairs in the nose. The smaller pollen fragments are able to pass through and enter the lungs, triggering the asthma attack. Most thunderstorms come and go fairly uneventfully. However, any thunderstorm can become severe, and all thunderstorms, by definition, present the danger of lightning. Thunderstorms occur throughout the world, even in the polar regions, with the greatest frequency in tropical rainforest areas, where they may occur nearly daily. At any given time, approximately 2,000 thunderstorms are occurring on Earth. Kampala and Tororo in Uganda have each been mentioned as the most thunderous places on Earth. A claim also made for Singapore and Bogor on the Indonesian island of Java. Other cities known for frequent storm activity include Darwin, Caracas, Manila, and Mumbai. Thunderstorms are associated with the various monsoon seasons around the globe, and they populate the rain bands of tropical cyclones. In temperate regions, they are most frequent in spring and summer, although they can occur along or ahead of cold fronts at any time of year. They may also occur within a cooler air mass following the passage of a cold front over a relatively warmer body of water. Thunderstorms are rare in polar regions because of cold surface temperatures. Thunderstorms strongly influenced many early civilizations. Greeks believed that they were battles waged by Zeus, who hurled lightning bolts forged by Hephaestus. Some American Indian tribes associated thunderstorms with the thunderbird, who they believed was a servant of the Great Spirit. The Norse considered thunderstorms to occur when Thor went to fight Jotnar, with the thunder and lightning being the effect of his strikes with the hammer Mjolnir. Hinduism recognizes Indra as the god of rain and thunderstorms. Christian doctrine accepts that fierce storms are the work of God. These ideas were still within the mainstream as late as the 18th century. Thunderstorms, evidenced by flashes of lightning on Jupiter, have been detected and are associated with clouds where water may exist as both a liquid and ice, suggesting a mechanism similar to that on Earth. Water is a polar molecule that can carry a charge, so it is capable of creating the charge separation needed to produce lightning. These electrical discharges can be up to 1,000 times more powerful than lightning on the Earth. The water clouds can form thunderstorms driven by the heat rising from the interior. The clouds of Venus may also be capable of producing lightning. Some observations suggest that the lightning rate is at least half of that on Earth.